There is something I don't know here if you have witnessed it. Some of our old people, old as they are, they carry them to the pain centers, they receive the money, and when they go back, they die within a day or two. Yes. Now, it has happened to some places. If it hasn't happened here, let's thank God.
But currently what we have done analysis on is lowering the eligibility age to 75 years, from 80 to 75, based on the economic performance of the economy, how the government may be able to consider. So we think that in the next few years we should lower it to at least 75 years.
Figure. Yes, much as the 25,000 is good money, the money has lost the value and it needs to be revised. So anything revised upwards would be for the good of the older persons. The other issue of concern that we note here is the number of pay points. So because older persons find it a challenge to reach to these pay points, the consideration by them is that this number of pay points should be increased. I think really, I'm so excited. Number one, the old woman has told us how she has benefited. She's keeping 3 students. She's managing a family with a PWD. She's catering for that. But he has also been able to raise the goats. From 1, they have multiplied. Now she has 7 and they are very healthy. So you can imagine the impact of the 25,000 per month. She has taken care of people here, educating others. One is already at secondary school level. To me, that's not a mean achievement. I'm reporting from this village, and government needs to put attention in its stage. Prioritize, add the money, take care of the older persons, and then we shall be blessed as a country.
They're interested in doing more farm work than even having, these supports that would come in 6 months, or, the short-lived programs or projects that are probably on. A case in point, I would say this one of UNICEF now, it's going to end in the 2 months that is remaining. And after that, just like I asked the question, after that, what next?
Alarm Christine! Alarm Christine! In alarm!
The fact that this community is a refugee hosting community, meaning that these are people who were forced by some factors from their mother country. And the fact that they came here, they landed here empty-handed. So with this cash, it has really empowered them. From what we have had, this very little money that they were getting helped them, first of all, to take their children to school, buy for them some uniforms and some scholastic materials. And besides what we had, they were able even to buy domestic animals like goats and pigs. And in a way, it has empowered them. In some of these areas, areas where refugees are being hosted, because they are alone, you find the hosting community becomes envious of the benefits they are trying to get. But this approach whereby the refugees and the hosting communities are together, you'll find they live as brothers and sisters.
Government has also rolled out several social care and support services to orphans, elderly, and persons with disabilities, among others. Despite the progress made in expanding the scope and coverage of social protection, the notion of leaving no one behind and attainment of SDGs will require a deliberate focus on increasing investment in social protection by both government and development partners.
Approximately 0.7% of our gross domestic product is allocated for financing social protection in Uganda. This is one of the lowest in the region compared to our neighbors such as Kenya 1%, Tanzania 1.7%, and Rwanda 1.8%.
So the view is that the oil fund should be accumulated for future generations. And the question I'm asking, are future generations more deserving than today's poor Ugandans? I believe that this issue requires more debate throughout Uganda.
Social protection is key to securing a number of rights. That is why you also saw in the keynote address of Dr. Suruma that he was talking about, I shouldn't starve to death. I should be able to access health.
Children who are facing stunting, children with malnutrition who are facing specifically stunting, it's quite a large percentage of children. Stunting is a life-threatening vulnerability. So we need the social protection system to address this vulnerability, identify these children, the households in which they live, and target them. If we don't do that, the life of these children is at risk.
And this is one of the reasons that we really felt the need to include social protection in our self-reliance model, and especially the SAGE piece, because it's often the care burden of women at the household level that means they don't have the time, they are time poor to invest in those opportunities that come their way.
When you look at the target group of 80 years plus, they are likely to be vulnerable to malaria. That will chew off your entire 25,000. So when the Ministry of Health is working on malaria programs, we need to be engaged with them because we have an interest there. They are now distributing mosquito nets. I would want every 80-year plus, actually 50-year or 60 plus, to be lined up for a mosquito net. So the conversations are with so many people who should be here. Somebody has just talked about the food and nutrition. I can as well ask, why is the Minister of Agriculture here? Because the people we are talking about, social protection and vulnerabilities, are speaking to those spaces.
Moreover, we know that the high level of vulnerability to shocks also impedes our national economic growth. We have lessons that we have learned from COVID-19 and many other shocks that we continue to face in this country. To this extent, I think social protection is not optional. We are happy that the government that we serve is cognizant of this fact, and this is evident in the policy and regulatory frameworks that they are put in place. Ladies and gentlemen, you are all aware that we have in place the National Social Protection Policy. We have the Vision 2040, and to cut the long story short, we also have the National Development Plan 3. All these are cognizant of the fact that social protection is not something that we can dispense with.
I'm happy that in the 10th Parliament, were able to successfully secure the national rollout of SAGE. We thank the government for financing it fully. This is a huge milestone for which we will build on other social protection programs, targeting other vulnerable groups across the country.
All of us members of Parliament have platforms wherever we are, beginning from our constituencies up to wherever, and all that we have to remind people about is the social protection agenda, where each one of us is a stakeholder. It is everybody's business. I heard Dr. Fred asking whether government is going to give money to all of us. No, all of us should give money to social protection. So it becomes everybody's business.